It was their civics class, of course. If you ever get an opportunity and asked to do it, please take them up on that opportunity to go in and talk to those youth, so that they can learn from us in this role. You never know, maybe our next mayor might be in that classroom, So, and also, I wanted to ask Kim. I want to put you on the spot. How are the nominations going for the Citizen of the Year and the Organization of the Year? Are we getting nominations in?
I've received one full organization.
Really?
That's all.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, so if we can get those, whoever's listening and the people in this room, let's make sure we get some nominations in. If we have any questions, maybe we can ask staff who, has done a lot for the town or things like that. If we don't know, because there could be an issue that we don't know. But maybe we can ask, who's done a lot and maybe get those nominations in and get those up for our staff. I mean, for our town. Um, and the last thing I was gonna mention, I was looking through the reports that our staff turned in, and everybody does a lot of work, and I know that. But I was particularly looking at the Park and Rec one, and I was just wondering, and I probably should have mentioned to you earlier. Do we have enough staff in Park and Recreation? Because I was just like, that is a lot. That list that I was looking at, um, you don't have to answer that right now, but of course, we don't want to overwork our staff, but they're doing an amazing job. Everybody, I've looked through every report, and Josh, I got a question offline for you about the elementary school indecent stuff. But anyway, that was interesting. But anyway, I was just looking at that list, and I was just thinking, do we have enough staff in that area to make sure that we're not overworking anybody in any of our different areas? So, um, and that's all I had, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Great. Mr. Harris?
Okay, I've got just a couple. First, I want to thank Justin for the good job of taking all that stuff from the planning retreat and turning it into this new document, prior to with three strategic priorities and setting up the near term, mid term, and long term. So it kind of really put that whole system together. I like the way you did it, and it kind of reminds me back to kind of more business like DuPont would do things. And,
Yeah.
as speaking of the DuPont, I just wanted to mention that we had a program back there that the place was making a difference, and they would get these little awards out for making a difference and stuff. And I was listening to this young lady over here at the end, my namesake there, that Child Abuse Day. She was doing a civics class at the high school, so she couldn't be out here at the tree. It was ribbon time. That evening we had the town and state group, at Hickory. But she got into there, had dinner, and then she had to leave, and she went to Appalachian State to teach a class at 9 o'clock that night. And then she just told me a while ago that she didn't get back home till a little after midnight. So if somebody makes a difference in our communities and stuff, and make sure she gets out there to those kids. I remember during COVID, all the stuff you did, make sure we had food for people to pick up, because I could see it across the road, everybody lining up. And I just want to say, my hat's off to you for all the work you do. So you're just amazing. And then the other thing I was going to mention, since it was Easter Sunday, and over the last 3 years of his life, Duck came to my house for Easter Sunday, and he told me on that day last year about what he was fixing to go through. And it's hard to believe that, that I had no idea that it'd be the last time I really sat down with him. Anyhow, I just wanted to mention that he was thought of, and I think we did a toast to him yesterday. So that's all I have.
Awesome. Thank you all for the comments. I appreciate the birthday card from the staff. It was very nice, and so wanted to thank you all directly for that. I'm not a year older, I'm a year wiser. I'll always be young, so thank you for that. Also, hopefully you all had a wonderful Easter and some time off spent with your family and friends. So again, hopefully, again, you were got a little rest from the town that day. Uh, I would say for council, again, appreciate all your comments, and I will try to make sure that we touch on those comments, but I think we um, spoke on Mr. Now's. Mr. Jarozinski mentioned a couple of things that I want to make sure we come back to. The active shooter, again, I think we've had that periodically, um, outside the town limits into the town. Any comment, Chief, you might want to make on that?
All the current incidents are actually happening outside their jurisdiction. In the sheriff's office, they are investigating it. They haven't asked for our assistance. It's in their primary jurisdiction. In fact, we have what's called extraterritorial jurisdiction, 1 mile from the city limits, where if we see something, we can act on it. But we communicate with them, and they have an active investigation going in there, doing certain things, so we're not going to step on the end of that and mess that up. But they are working on all this.
Thank you.
The next item, update on the social districts. We discussed it a bit at the planning retreat. Any comment, Justin, you want to make on that at this point?
Sir, I have that in the strategic planning document, and I can't quote you the time frame, but our plan was to put it in there as one of the goals to bring back to you all in the next few months.
Yep.
So just kind of have that on the list to bring back shortly.
Okay, great, thank you. I think the next item was the review of the text amendment on murals. I'm assuming there's a request Ms. Jarozinski is having on that. Is that something, Andrew, you can bring back to us and maybe send the current one to us and let us?
Yeah, the document I provided has the current regulations. Page 108, bottom is the murals, and 109, top of that is the window signs, and that is basically our regulations right now. Murals are only allowed in our CB or NC districts. We really don't have any NC zone property. What we do have is very minuscule, so that's not really a factor at this point in time. But CB would basically be the southern side of Main Street here. So that's really the only place we have murals at this time. It does have some requirements there in the third column. So the current regulations we have, staff is open to modify these any way council sees fit. So if you want to just look at this a little bit further and provide some direction on how we want to move forward with this, more than happy to do some research and bring some options in front of you.
So Ms. Jarozinski brought the issue up?
Yes.
You're going to work with Mr. Bandreska to come up with some language and then bring that back to council and we can digest it at that point?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Thank you.
The next item was the, I believe Ms. Harris brought up the nomination for Citizen and Organization of the Year. Help my remembrance, Kim. I think we put it off a year, kind of brought it back. I would ask, as Ms. Harris mentioned, maybe staff can put their thinking cap on and just give us some ideas on possible nominations and ask the public to also provide some nominations as well. What's our time frame?
Deadline's April 20th.
Okay. Got a couple of weeks.
We've got it on Facebook, we've got it on the website.
Okay. All right. So we'll discuss it at the next agenda briefing, and hopefully we'll have some nominations in there. Might have heard at least one addition. Okay. Did I cover everybody's?
The lighting, park lighting.
Thank you, Ms. Snell. Park lighting. Want to provide some update on that?
Yes, sir. So the LGC had a meeting last week, and we were approved for that funding. So the next step is for us to close on the loan, which will be on the 16th?
15th.
15th this month. So once we close on the loan, we'll have the funding and everything approved, and we'll give the lighting company the go ahead. And then Emily, do you remember their lead time?
6 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
Just to get the material piece done.
Yeah. So I think once we give them the go ahead, we'll start to coordinate an actual installation date and everything. But they can get the actual hardware ordered at that time.
Yep. They're ready to go as soon as we are.
Okay. I didn't bring up, someone did ask me, and it wasn't Ms. Harris, Tally Street sidewalks. Any update?
We're still working with the utilities. They're ready to go start the survey. We're just waiting for a couple environmental documents to provide the CDOT.
Okay.
Just finally do that.
Okay. We think this summer?
Hopefully, but I was hoping last summer, so we'll see how this goes.
In the summer of '55.
I was getting ready to say, I mean, you might want to specify which summer.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have something also on the lighting, but not the park lights. I don't know if it's Duke Power or who it is doing the contracting. It was on 21 Main Street. They were on Barium Lane. I think they've been all over. Some of the street lights are still down on the ground. Who do we reach out to get these street lights back up?
Yeah, I'm assuming most of those are Duke, or all of them are Duke.
Yeah, I think they may have been using a contractor, but Austin's got a contact for that company. So you said over on Barium Lane?
Yeah, I got two are down on Barium Lane. I
Okay.
can't speak for the rest of the town, but if two are down on Little Barium Lane, there's gotta be more down other places.
Okay, I'll have him ride around and
Okay.
identify those and then reach out to them.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, next is staff. Any staff reports, comments?
Yes, sir. We covered a few notes I had, so let me go through some of them here just to make sure I don't miss anything. I did want to mention that from our discussion last month about Eastway Drive and speeding, Andrew's reached out to the traffic engineers at Kimley Horn that we have on retainer and has asked them to look at potential options for what we could do on Eastway. One of the ideas that we talked about was actually allowing traffic to flow off of Main Street and then having basically a three-way stop on Eastway and the side streets, so that folks going down Eastway have to stop at those cross streets, and then it allows folks to not back up onto 21. So that's something they'll look at. Of course, we'll look at things like speed bumps or speed tables, but wanted to get their input based on some of the traffic counts and the best practices that they've seen implemented around. So we'll bring that back to you probably next month once we hear back from them. We scheduled an additional leaf pickup on March 23rd, I think it was, somewhere around there. Because that fell so close to the council meeting where you all approved that additional date, we went ahead and scheduled another one in April, just so that folks that were finding out about it last minute would have enough time. So April 20th will be the next date for leaf pickup, and then that'll be it until the fall. The paving continues on the wastewater improvement project where they've made cuts in the roads to repair some of those sewer lines. We were a little delayed with weather and then their schedule being mixed up, but they were paving either today or tomorrow some, and then they'll be paving in the next week or two. So they're trying to wrap up those repairs. And then, let me see. Mr. Jarozinski had mentioned Parental Alienation Day. We were going to have that proclamation available on Thursday for you all to reference if you want to mention it, or we can put it as an agenda item and just read it off one more time. And we also have previously done a resolution for autism awareness, and we're going to have that prepared for you as well on Thursday. So we'll have child abuse prevention, autism awareness, and parental alienation. And I wanted to mention to Ms. Harris's comment, that the staff in Parks and Recreation was a topic of discussion this morning at our staff meeting. And we have a budget meeting later this week where we'll be talking about that.
Wow,
Exactly.
great
So
job,
yeah,
guys.
we're on the same page here. That's for sure. And I believe that's it. Am I missing anything, y'all? Okay. I think that's it, sir.
I was gonna mention we were gonna have that conversation during budget retreat, I'm sure. So,
I do have one more question. This month we have Earth Day Community Cleanup, is that correct, on April 22nd? What are the plans for that? What's that event look like?
Just now, we've done in the past, so have you attended in the past?
I think last year was canceled and the year
Yeah, we
before
had
there were
down rain.
issues and.
So we gather, we identify some areas in town that need some support. We see how many people are in attendance, and we divide up into zones, split up our resources, go out for about 2 hours or so, clean up trash, come back. The guys will go around and pick up the bags, bring them back. We physically weigh the trash, so we can measure our impact of how much we were able to pick up in town. Over the years, we've been able to say, we picked up 750 pounds of trash in Troutman, and just so we can tell our story of the impact we had on Earth Day. So it's about 2 hours of cleaning up, and our zones may change this year because some areas that we've been able to clean in the past have sold, and they're occupied now, so which is good. But we'll see what areas need some support, and then we'll go from there. But so far we probably have about 10 people signed up, maybe 11 signed up, and then we have some staff coming, so civic groups tend to show up and support. I'm waiting to hear from a few on that, but just need to figure out what areas need the support, and we'll go from there.
Very good. I did partake in it, I think it was about 3 years ago. And, I mean, it was a great event, right? A lot of cleanup. It's surprising how much trash is kind of tucked away in spots that you don't really see. Definitely encourage the community to come. And a couple weeks ago, I also saw somebody posted that they saw somebody picking up trash on the Greenway, and they were encouraged to kind of get involved. And it's just to kind of remind everybody that we have an Adopt a Street program for trash cleanup on those streets, as any family or corporation would like to adopt them. Was it twice a year?
3 times a year.
3 times a year? Yep.
We found out that was an employee they were talking about, that they saw cleaning up
Yeah.
trash, but actually had an Adopt a Street zone adopted today, so we've got another one adopted this afternoon.
Very good.
Yep.
What time on the 22nd? 6 p.m.?
5:30, 6, whenever, after our budget meeting.
Yeah.
And then we'll be done.
So all of council will be here.
Bring
No
your,
excuse, you all will be here.
Bring your appropriate clothing.
I don't know, that's my wedding anniversary. Y'all might not get me that.
Oh, good, bring Kenny.
Bring Kenny.
What better way to celebrate, right?
We'll let you
Okay.
All right, anything else from staff?
No, sir.
Okay. Next item is the review of the 2026 strategic planning document. Mr. Longino?
Thank you, sir. I won't read each item line by line, but just kind of we'll go through a high-level overview of this. So, Mr. Harris said this is sort of a compilation of all of the goals and objectives we talked about at the strategic planning retreat. It's sort of the time frame is sort of loosely 26 through 28, with the near term being 6 to 12 months, midterm being 12 to 24, and then long term being 24 to 36. Some of these projects are bigger and a little more complicated than others, so those are a little variable. But we certainly wanted to go through and be able to put a time frame on them, and through each section they're divided into near term, midterm, and long term. So the 3 areas that we have are safety and mobility. And sort of an overview, again, of these different categories. Safety and mobility is improve pedestrian safety, complete a townwide safety plan, and implement targeted crosswalk and roadway improvements. Communication and organization is the next category. Goals there include strengthen employee retention, improve internal culture, and advance the town hall expansion project. And then the last is partnerships and identity. And the goals there include launching a signature event, expanding volunteer engagement, establishing standards specifically for downtown, and then strengthen stakeholder coordination and incentivize redevelopment. I've got a note there that once you all adopt this plan, we want to review it at least every quarter. And my goal would be to just have it as part of the agenda briefing agenda and give an update on where we are on these different goals and categories. So I can stop there. Again, I don't want to read the whole thing to you. I'm sure you all had a chance to review it, and if not, we can sort of wait and put this on the consent agenda for Thursday, or talk about it again Thursday, or you can adopt it tonight. So it's your choice.
Any questions on the document at this point? Folks want a little bit more time to review it between now and Thursday. We put it on consent.
Good with that?
All right, well,
It's pretty simple.
so want to put it on consent before we stop on Thursday.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right, next item is the resolution 1326, opposing state legislation that limits local property tax authority. Justin?
Thank you, sir. We've already had a little bit of discussion about this, but I wanted to put this before you for your consideration. There's a piece of legislation that's currently being discussed in Raleigh that would, in one way or another, limit local authority on regulating property taxes. They've thrown around a couple of ideas on what that might look like, but basically the next step that the committee that's considering this has planned is to put a referendum on the ballot in November that loosely says, do you support limiting property taxes, which I think we would probably all vote for. So once it passes, I think the goal at that point is to try and figure out what that limitation might look like. It may end up being something that's not a huge effect to Troutman. Part of the problem has been brought about because of overtaxing in 9 out of the 10 most populous counties in North Carolina. So they may focus in on some of those areas. They may make it something that is a percentage increase that would basically have limited those areas in the past that started to overtax. My concern, and the concern I've heard from some other managers, is that this basically would limit you all's authority to do what you want to do with property taxes, to put it just sort of in summation. Typically the state gives powers to local governments and says, y'all know best what you need to do in your own jurisdiction, so figure that out and do that. And that's our concern here is, if it's something that waits until after the ballot in November, have we talked about it for 8 or 9 months, and then have we come up with some sort of big arduous process that limits your authority to change the way you want to change property taxes in the future. So that's sort of more than I'd planned to say, but summation there of what the resolution is, and would ask you all to consider that so we can send that to Raleigh and be sort of proactive and say, hey, we know y'all are thinking about this, but please make sure it doesn't limit us in the future.
Do we know if other municipalities in Iredell County will be signing a similar proclamation?
Yes, sir. So we have all talked in Iredell County, and I drafted this and shared it with the other jurisdictions. I know this is on Statesville's agenda for next week, next Monday. I know some other jurisdictions across the state have adopted similar resolutions as well.
Is the county doing so also?
I would assume so. I know the county manager is very passionate about it. I just haven't seen it on their agenda yet.
Any questions regarding the resolution? Anybody oppose us signing the resolution?
No, I spoke with the state legislator, and they that encouraged us to kind of take action on this, so.
I'd like to make a motion and that we sign the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made that we sign this resolution 1326. Any other comments? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. We'll sign it.
Yes, sir, thank you.
The next item is the next steps on town properties. And turn it over to Mr. Longino.
Yes, sir. No action requested on this one. Just wanted to give you all an update on the different town properties and projects that we have. As far as Town Hall is concerned, we're in the beginning stages of working with Fuller Architecture to develop a programming and schematic design package for Town Hall. I told the staff this morning that Fuller's going to be reaching out in the next couple of weeks to set up some time to review their current needs and plan future needs for the Town Hall expansion. That's something that they've done in one iteration or another with Keystone and the potential of building the new Town Hall. So I think from the staff perspective, they'll be very well prepared to talk through that. But we want to be able to give that to Fuller so that they can refine that floor plan, that layout, and make sure that all the different offices and spaces that we're looking for in the future are programmed into that space. So they'll be scheduling that over the next week or two. Probably closer to the end of the month, they'll start meeting with staff and work to refine that. Expect that to take about a month or so, and then we'll have to put out an RFP for actual construction drawings based on that floor plan. That'll be something that'll be above something that'll meet the bid threshold requirement. So we'll have to put that out and see which firms are available to do those construction drawings for us. That'll probably take. We were going back and forth this morning whether we should give them 30 or 60 days to respond to that, and then it'll probably take them 4 to 6 months to put those drawings together. So working through the floor plan, then working through the actual construction drawings, and then we'll actually bid out those construction drawings to a contractor to see what the price is going to be and to build that town hall addition for us. Any questions on that?
Questions, comments?
So breaking ground in 9 months?
I would hope a little sooner, but yeah.
Okay.
Probably 9 months is probably realistic, yeah.
Just to be clear for
Yeah.
those who may be watching who may not understand, so this will be an opportunity for people who are, not people, our staff who are in different places to come in one place. That's our plan, right? For all of our
Yes.
staff to be in one place
That's
instead of all
correct.
over town.
That's right, yeah.
With maybe the exception of Public Works, am I correct on that?
That's correct. Austin,
right.
Austin may have an office
Yeah,
in the building, but
of
yes, sir.
course,
Yeah.
but we can't move Public Works.
That's right.
With everybody else.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They couldn't go with where the park place is.
Uh,
Be close to the
Park's probably gonna have some more staff, and they're gonna need that for the
They're gonna
maintenance
need
folks
that
down there.
area.
Yeah.
And we said, I'm trying to give away my space.
That's right. So the next update I wanted to give is on the Keystone Building. So we discussed listing the Keystone Building for sale, and there's a resolution on Thursday night's agenda to move that process forward a little bit. But word has certainly gotten out that we are considering that, and we have shown it, I think, 3 times. And the mayor and I have had conversations with potential buyers, and there's a schedule that I still need to coordinate for tomorrow for a second showing. So certainly some interest and some good potential tenants for that building as well, I'll say. So the resolution on Thursday night would allow us to, or would authorize me to move forward with listing it with a brokerage firm, but we may not need that, but wanted to go ahead and have that approval, so we don't have to wait till next month if something falls through on those other prospects and they don't work out. So yeah, that's moving forward well. And then the Lyatt building, there was a showing last week that our realtor took someone through. I haven't gotten any feedback from that yet. And then we still have a potential business owner that's looking to lease space that we need to figure out some more details on. But as far as I know, he's still interested. I think he's just been very busy, so still have some interest there as well. I just wanted to provide those updates for you.
I think on Thursday night when we were in Hickory, we saw the possibility of what Wyatt could be. Could be a beautiful place for someone to come into our town and take what we were at on Thursday night.
Yeah, the facility there is really nice. I've been there. Yeah.
Me too.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next item is to review Thursday's agenda. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Longinelle.
Thank you, sir. First few items under consent agenda, you'll see that Kim has been busy. Minutes. If we go down to item G, that is our first budget ordinance amendment. I believe the next three are, so I'll let Gina say a few words if you want to just speak to those briefly.
Sure. So the first one is the budget amendment to create the special revenue fund for the occupancy tax. So state law requires us to have any money we get for occupancy, which is usually a specific tax rate on hotels. For us, it's primarily Airbnbs. We have to have it in a separate fund that we account for differently, and it has to be used on travel and tourism. So this is just formalizing that and creating that special revenue fund for that. And so to be moving, we have $7,000 budgeted in the 26 budget ordinance. So it's moving that appropriation and that revenue over to that fund.
And I'll go ahead and jump in and say that the legislation that was created to allow us to charge that occupancy tax also stipulates that there be a travel and tourism authority, and that has previously been an authority that we've had staffed with members, but not for some time. So between now and the next month, if you all have anyone in mind that you think might be a good member of the Travel and Tourism Authority, we'll send out a description of that board to you all, and also post that on Facebook and the website. But something that we need to have to be able to sort of oversee those funds and then spend them on travel and tourism items. So I want to get that board back up and running.
How many members did we have? Established on that board?
7?
8. We had 5 or 7.
I think it was 5.
Was
Yeah,
it
I think
5?
we had 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Where have the funds been going if we haven't had this?
So they have been in the general fund. However, we've definitely had, I think we've received a little under 10,000 each year, and we definitely have $10,000 worth of marketing expenses so that we would meet the threshold of the state statute.
Okay.
But up until this point, they've been in the general fund.
So they've just been commingled, and this just separates
Yeah.
them out so that we
Yeah.
can account for them.
I see here on the ordinance, it references a 3%
Yes.
room occupancy tax. What do we need to do to change that to the 6% allowed?
Get the state legislature to amend the statute, because that's actually a statute passed by North Carolina.
It was my understanding, though, and maybe not correct, but it was changed to 6%.
So if you look at the whole thing about the occupancy tax, the state piecemealed it a lot together. So they have amended that for certain certain counties and certain cities. Ours is a very specific state statute that is just it's for Troutman and one other municipality, and it's designated at 3%. So in order for us to change that, we would have to get the state legislature to amend that statute to increase it to 6%.
What is that other municipality, do you know?
I can find out real quick.
Thank you.
Our neighbors, Statesville and Mooresville, are they 3% also, or they're 6?
I'd have to look and see. They're not included in our statute. So nobody else in Iredell County is included in our statute. We were
And
singled out.
if you could
But I
look
can
into
find out. Yeah,
Statesville,
of course.
Mooresville, and Iredell County, because I could stay a mile up the road in an Airbnb and really technically still be involved with Troutman.
Yep.
So if the county's getting 6, then budget for us to see if we can get 3% more. Thank you.
Yep, of course.
Other questions regarding?
So the next budget amendment in front of you is for, to amend, number 4, to amend the budget ordinance to allow for more funds for our economic incentive. We had an economic incentive agreement with C.R. Unsred. Sorry. That's what happens when you're from California. And we budgeted $48,500 this year for that economic incentive. It actually turned out to be about $60,000, so we need to increase the appropriations for that. It's within our economic development department, which is also used for our downtown enhancements, our membership to Iredell Economic Development Corporation, and this. And like I said, this is an agreement that we went into in 2022, and this is the second year of a 5-year plan to provide this economic incentive. And I believe I put in the staff report, the maximum we pay is around $340,000. So we probably will be paying for the next 3 years as well.
Did we receive some money back from the state though, also with that Entrus agreement?
Yes, yeah, back in, I believe in 22, yes.
You weren't here, but
I
we were
wasn't
kind of
here.
led to believe it was almost a wash.
So we did get, we did get a grant, an economic incentive grant. I think it's actually we actually came out a little bit better. I can get those numbers for you, but I did research that and find, we did receive that grant, so we did get that. Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the reasons why I think we went along with the agreement.
Right.
Because we were getting kind of reciprocated back.
Exactly. We weren't gonna be harmed in it.
Right.
Yep.
I can find out that exact number though, for you.
It's probably, a couple of years ago, 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Okay. Next item?
And the next item are amendments to the capital project ordinances for our Shin Creek Regional Sewer Pump Station and the wastewater transmission project. When we brought these capital projects to you all, for Shin Creek, right now, the only thing budgeted is the $3.9 million contract that we have with the Shin Farms developer. And for wastewater transmission project, the only thing we have budgeted right now is for the contracts with Kimley Horn to do the engineering and administration for phase 1 and phase 2. However, West Consultants, who is our engineering consulting firm, is also doing work with them on behalf of the town, and we don't have anything budgeted for those in that capital project. So that is what these 2 amendments do, is budgeted, puts money in the ordinance so that we can reimburse West Consultants under this project and not under general fund in one of our other departments.
Any questions on those? All right, next item.
Thank you, Gina. Item J at the top of the second page is the resolution that I mentioned previously to authorize us to market and negotiate the sale of Keystone. So again, would ask that you all approve that on Thursday, and if we need it, we'll be good to go. And if one of the other leads works out, we'll go that route.
I didn't see a timing in there, how soon you'll get it done, but.
ASAP.
Good.
Sold and closed by Thursday.
That's right. So then the next section is recognitions and presentations. Mention the Child Abuse Prevention Month, and we'll have those other 2 proclamations listed on there as well. And then Evelyn's coming for an ABC store update. And that's it.
Okay. Any other questions on the agenda for Thursday? Okay. Good. Next item is a closed session, North North Carolina General Statute 143, 1811A7, to plan, conduct, and hear reports of alleged misconduct. I will ask, who all do we need in the room? So, yeah. All right. Everybody else is welcome to go, and thank you all for being here. We'll see you Thursday night.